Welcome back to Free Play Arcade, the show where I find interesting games that you can play for free. This week I wanted to sit down and play a free adventure game, and oh boy did I find a doozy. It's an unassuming blend of sci-fi with a noir-styled twist called Camp 1. Man, this game is depressing, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Camp 1 is a point-and-click style adventure game made by Waxwing Games, and as a first entry into game development, it's pretty strong. Full warning, I like adventure games. If you don't like adventure games, you will not like Camp 1. Camp 1 is an adventure game in the style of 90s adventure games. Don't expect this to not be a classic-styled adventure game. Alright, now that we have that in order, let's continue. In Camp 1, you play the role of Korsky, a pilot and inmate who works as part of a small mining camp on a desolate moon where everything is cold, dark, and bleak. The game opens up with Korsky having an existential moment. You see, it's their last day in the camp, and although this should be a happy moment, Korsky has nowhere else to go, no place to call home, and nothing of note to go back to. Everything starts off fairly routine. Korsky's ship is loaded and ready to go. All that remains is getting signatures from everyone else in camp before flying to the rendezvous point in orbit for a cargo exchange and Korsky's transfer. Unfortunately, something goes haywire with the ship's navigation and it crash lands shortly after takeoff. It quickly becomes clear that this is no accident, and Korsky finds himself caught in the middle of a drama that they had nothing to do with. What follows is a mystery that I won't spoil, but trust me when I tell you that this game is 4 chapters of intrigue, almost like a pulp novella of a game. Based in Sweden, Waxwing Games claims to be a small indie developer with a soft spot for early 90s adventure games. And I have to say that there is no doubt in my mind that this is true. Camp 1 looks like a throwback to the DOS-based 256-color games of yesteryear. More than just aesthetic, the game also comes with the challenges one would expect from a 90s-era adventure game, aka prepare to be stuck for a long period of time trying to figure out how to solve a puzzle to the point of feeling like the game is broken. It's not. You just haven't figured out the solution that the developer had in mind. I will admit that there were a few times that I was incredibly stuck for an extended period of time, only to find that there was a whole non-obvious option or object hidden from view, or something was not interactive until the story was ready for me to interact with it. As frustrating as that can be, the mental payoff for solving puzzles is extremely satisfying, and it's refreshing to play a game that chooses challenge over spectacle. Although primarily a mouse-driven game, there is at least one point where Camp 1 requires the use of a keyboard for text input. This should be fine since if you're playing this on a computer, you probably have a keyboard connected to it. However, I did run into a bug where the game stopped recognizing my keyboard strokes, and I was forced to quit the game and revert to a previous save. Thankfully, the previous save was not far off from where I needed to be, but just keep that caveat in mind if you choose to play the game. And as always, safety save, my friends. If the thought of being stumped for 15 or 30 minutes on a puzzle makes you uneasy, or the thought of grabbing a pencil and paper to take notes makes you feel sick in the pit of your guts, I would steer clear of Camp 1. But if, like me, you want to sit down on a lazy weekend afternoon and spend 3 to 5 hours engrossed in a deviously intriguing mystery, or you just happen to have a love of the old-school point-and-click adventure genre, Camp 1 from Waxwing Games will most certainly scratch that itch.